So the DCA, these 10 by 10 events, it'd just be good, a little understanding of how you got involved, how they're working, and what the benefits you think you're getting out of them.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I've noticed today is that there are a few new people here that I haven't met before, and I think that's, if this event is bringing in new people, that's a good thing, isn't it? And how did I get involved with it? Well, I mean, obviously, my links with the DCA and what Steve is trying to do. I'm on the advisory board, so and I missed the first 10 by 10, so I had to come to this 10 by 10, and it looks like it's going really well, yeah. And then there are some interesting talks. I'm not sure whether my talk might get something thrown at me because it's a little bit provocative.
Talking of provocation, we had a presentation from At North, and they've got data centers, I think, Iceland, Finland, and was it Sweden, I think. Is the whole data center industry in danger for the right reasons of ending up in the Nordics, or is it not quite as simple as that?
I think, Phil, it's not quite as simple as that. I mean, the great thing about the Nordics, obviously, is one of the things that we go for is the low carbon intensity electricity. And obviously the colder climate. Two things that really help you to operate data centers, because you can claim a low carbon usage effectiveness because your electricity has a low carbon intensity, but also it's easy to get rid of the heat. And actually the Nordics is also very good for district heating. So you have this option of rejecting the heat into the district heating. Well, that's rather complicated because you usually need a heat pump or heat pumps, plural, to upgrade the heat for the networks because they're high temperature networks. So, but is the danger of all data centers going to the Nordics? I mean, there's definitely some excess energy there, and I think the appetite for digital services globally, I don't think you can run everything from the Nordics, but they're definitely going to play a big role for a lot of activity in Europe, I think, in the future.
And just a second part, because I think we're due back to listen to the next sessions, but in terms of the data center industry, how achievable is real sustainability, bearing in mind the digital age? We're all doing so much more digital activity, so many devices, so we're exploding our usage of digital activities, devices, etc., and the data center world is expanding. Can we ever say the industry will be truly sustainable, or will it have to be as energy efficient and as environmentally optimized, if you like, as possible, as opposed to truly sustainable?
I mean, that's a really complex question, because the problem we have with digital footprint, or the activity of everybody in the digital space, is that some of it is frivolous and some of it is very serious. And some of it, I mean, it's definitely the case that we cannot operate the globe today without digital services. You turn data centers off, it'll be absolute chaos. We've seen when you see some data centers lose the workload for different organizations, that has an unfathomable expensive effect on activity for that company. So I think in terms of sustainability, I mean, I think there's a lot of truth in avoided emissions, if you like, with digital services. Online meetings, going to the library virtually rather than, but you could go on your push bike, I guess you could use, which is a low carbon intensity. But I think there's lots of examples of where digitalization has a positive effect. But there's unfortunately the other side of that, the dark side of it, which is we're all drawn into this social media, which is an excessive use, sometimes excessively used, and so that can be considered as frivolous activity. Perhaps we need to ration that a bit in the future. I don't know. Can we really be controlled by our governments in those domains? Maybe the Chinese can, but we can't, perhaps. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. No one's really going to be happy if the government gets involved. But no. Okay, thank you very much, John.